Fantasy Zombie 17 asks, who are good mid-round running backs to target besides Frank Gore and Isaiah Crowell, which we've talked about both of these guys as just good value.
You're cutting my legs out from under
Frank
me.
Gore is a good value late because people not forget about Gore, but just don't think he's going to be great, which he's not. He's going to be solid, but I like those two guys, so obviously can't pick them. Who is a player you like to get in the mid-round? So, more of a running back 2, maybe even a running back 3, but what do you think? This is a tough list because, honestly, a lot of these guys, they don't just jump out at me right now. There's question marks behind a lot of them. And
so many of them.
Who would be your guy? Who would you pick?
I have a couple. And obviously this is up for change, depending on who you see, because a lot of these guys could be absolutely turn into a 50-50 type running back. They could lose their jobs to rookies coming in. But I think the guys, and I'm not predicting injury. It's really tough to do that, so I'm not going to do that. But I think Tevin Coleman is a safe bet.
Yep.
Even as a backup to Freeman, he gets a lot of touches. He is incredibly good. I like Tevin Coleman a lot. You can get him in the mid-rounds. And Amir Abdullah, I think because he's coming off injury, I think he's clearly the best runner on that Detroit team. I think as long as he stays healthy, he will put up decent production. Yeah. And I think he might get way more carries than even people are assuming he's going to. I think he could get the kind of bulk that could really shoot him up into the top 20, possibly. And then one more guy that I really do like. He's in a iffier situation than the other two, but I still like Bilal Powell. I think Forte is aging out a bit. I think Bilal Powell is going to be able to get bulk, and I think he's just, to be honest, a more talented runner at the moment. And Jets are kind of in flux. I think they'll have to run the ball. So I think, not that I want him to be a running back 2 by any means or anything like that, but I think he would be nice that you could see if he develops into that running back 3, that flex position. I think he has that talent.
When I'm looking here, I like Eddie Lacy. And everyone likes to joke about Eddie Lacy, and no one's a big Eddie Lacy fan. But where he's right now, he's in that around 20th range. I really do think he's going to get the majority of the carries there with Seattle. It just seems like that's what it's going to be. And if he can even be 75% of what Lynch was when they were doing, I think he could be very, very good. I worry about that offensive line isn't very good.
Yeah.
They haven't been. That's my worry with it. But he was good in Green Bay really for his first 2 seasons. He was a top 10 running back both years. That 2015 he kind of fell off a little bit, but it wasn't even. It was just injury and obviously probably some weight issues yet. Last year he was having a good season, like at least yards per carry wise. He wasn't getting touchdowns, but that's Green Bay's offense. They don't need to run the ball on the goal line all the time. I just feel like he's going to have just a resurgence this year. I think he's going to be in good shape. Obviously has these weight goals to hit. He wants to make a good impression, obviously, because if he doesn't this year, I think it's done. He's done. This is this is like a 1-year deal. If he doesn't do it this year, he could very well be out of the league if he comes in here and does nothing this year. So I'm sold. I'm not sold on it, but I really like Eddie Lacy. If I can get him, he's around that 20 range. So if you can get him as your 3rd running back, you are going to be in great shape. But I wouldn't mind him as my 2nd running back. I'm fine with it. I think he's going to get enough of the work. And I'm going to see if there's anybody else other than that. Honestly, not many people really stand out for me. I like LeGarrette Blount because he's down there in the ranks yet, but you don't know you don't know his situation either. I think he's going to get the majority of the work because he's really going to have to beat out Smallwood. That's it. Sproles is there, but Sproles is a different player. Blount should get a lot of the work, so I like him too. But Eddie Lacy's my guy.
I like that.
I'm kind of targeting him.
Actually, there's one more guy, and he shouldn't be this low, but the only reason he is because he's suspended, but we have to say Doug Martin. Mm-hmm. If you can get him later on and just kind of wait out the first couple weeks, I think you'll be in good shape. So I think those are some good, I really do. And I like your pick as well of Fat Eddie Lacy. I do worry about the other guys a little bit cutting into it, but I think Procise will only be a guy that really a 3rd down back catching it. And I think Rawls is fun too, but I think there's enough work for all of them. So.
I think so.